Hello, NPS Toastmasters. It's wonderful to be here today, and I can't wait for the ride home because I saw the traffic's going to be wonderful. But while I'm here, I just wanted to enjoy our time together and tell you a little bit about my journey from panic to power, my Toastmasters story. But before I get started, I just want to get this out of the way that I like the Navy. My dad served in the Seabees, the construction battalion, the Naval Construction Battalion, and became a carpenter as a result of that. I like the Navy, and speaking here is probably the closest I'm going to get to speaking to the Navy, I think, except I was on the phone with him on the way down here on my cell phone. So it's great to be here. And I finished my DTM. You notice that Art and I have the badges, and it only took me 12 years and 7 months. So it's been a journey. And I wish you could have been there. Back when I was 15 years old, my hand was on the door of the gymnasium at Shaker Heights High School in Cleveland, Ohio. And as I was about to turn the handle and go in, my friend Terry touched me on the arm and said, "Elaine, this is your first Toastmaster speech contest ever. Good luck." I said, "Terry, I got this. I just graduated from the high school course for Dale Carnegie public speaking skills. And I am so confident that this is going to be one of my standout events at this competition that I'm going to just blow them away. Thank you." I walked into the room. It wasn't the little intimate gathering of 20 eager faces like I was used to. It was a huge gymnasium. The spring sunshine weekly came through the high windows, and I walked across the floor, my heels clicking, and I turned to face the panel of 4 judges, impassive. And I launched into the speech. I went ahead, confident that this was going to be okay, with trepidation, but confident that it was going to be okay until I got to that first joke, where I told them how the dog ate my homework. They always laughed in Dale Carnegie. Okay. This is not what I expected at all. Well, let's keep going. And I went on to the next story about how my mom saved the day. Heartwarming, drove me all the way back to school to get my book so I could finish that project on time. The judges sat there like statues. This was the toughest crowd I'd ever encountered in my young speaking career. And I wasn't prepared for it. I lost my train of thought. What the heck? And just gave up. As I walked out, though, I turned and looked at that panel one more time, and I looked at the lady on the end, and I said, surely she'd understand. Young student like me, have some pity. She looked at me as if to say, is that the best you can do? You don't even belong on this contest stage. The crushing blow that felt, I didn't ever want to have that happen again. I could have thought the judges were tough. I wasn't prepared. I learned about the 5 Ps that day, that's for sure. Proper preparation prevents pretty poor performance, right? And instead of saying to myself, well, we'll do better next time, I said, this was so terrible that I never want to do it again. And let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Let's not raise our hand when the teacher asks the whole class in front of a big group where I don't know anyone. Let's just sit back. And in fact, I would say, oh, I think the answer is this. And then my classmate would raise the hand and get the answer right. That was frustrating. When I had the chance in the hallway to see a manager and think of something quickly to say to them, I just said, I'd rather have nothing to say. What does it cost a person to give up their voice? Career advancement, self-confidence, interactions with other people. Then I changed careers. I came to a company called Xilinx, and the first day, my coworker Raul leaned across the table and said, "Elaine, we have Toastmasters here." And it had been percolating all in my mind all along that I needed what Toastmasters had to offer. And I really didn't think. I said, "Okay, I'm joining." The first meeting there, I was petrified. I sat in the back row and prayed that they would not call on me for table topics, because I think I'd explode. But as I went through my journey, I learned a few things. As a Toastmaster, I learned that you can just stand with your arms at your sides in the neutral stance, and you can just give your speech from here. It's a stance of power. You don't have to pace, you don't have to move your arms. And then when you do move, there's more emphasis to your. I also learned that when we're given the privilege of the platform, we should always think about our KFD. This is what we want our audience to know, okay, feel, or do as a result of hearing our speech. And it should be 10 words or less. For example, for this speech, it's join Toastmasters, work the program, persevere, and succeed. When you're clear on that in your mind, your speech has better clarity for your audience. 4.5 years after I joined Toastmasters, I had the opportunity of a lifetime, because as a bride, I got to give the wedding toast, the bride's wedding toast. And think about all the stress going on a wedding day. Well, it was a relatively large wedding, so the dress, the hair, the makeup. For a bride, this is key, this is critical. And I didn't want to cry during the toast and ruin all that, right? Oh, that would be a nightmare. My friends said, don't do it, it's just too much. But the Toastmaster in me said, of course I would do it. I rehearsed, it's a manual speech, by the way. You know that, special occasions, rehearsed, I practiced it, and it got evaluated, thank you very much. I got up and I gave that toast, and I nailed it, and it was in front of 100 of my friends and family, and it was in a gymnasium again, the church hall, and I used a microphone. And after I was done, the pastor of my church came up and said to me, "That was impressive." And this is a man who gives 2 20-minute sermons every week of the year. It felt great to find and finally use my voice. So, as we make our journey, your journey might be different. Mine was about self-confidence, finding the courage to use my voice, finding that standing in front of an audience and speaking isn't hazardous to your health, not at Toastmasters, and finding out really who I am. Your journey will be different through Toastmasters, but I invite you to take it. I invite you to overcome the obstacles that are in your way. Some might think the extra time spent at Toastmasters is too big of a burden. Well, I submit to you that the extra frustration, conflict, and lack of communication at work or at home can be overcome and eliminated by spending the extra time at Toastmasters. Where else can you find a more cost-effective program for public speaking than learning by doing with the low fees here? And just the self-confidence and how the good feeling you have for finding and using your voice. So I invite you to join the Toastmasters Club and continue your experience and succeed in your journey. Thank you very much for having me.